with Mr. Fred Schultz, the man, the myth, the legend. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. You know, I got to be honest with you. I love paintball, but I was really getting into that movie review, and now I'm going to dream all night about the dance off between you and Jeff. So, you know, I'm already wired up about that, buddy. How you guys doing this evening?
We're doing good. Dennis, how are you doing? Because you weren't on earlier with us.
Yeah, I first of all, I want to thank you guys very much for having me on. This is pretty cool. And, you know, and Jeff, Jeff Munoz, what a great guy, huh? I mean, he's first class.
Oh, don't talk him up anymore. His head's gonna already go.
You're just jealous, Eugene. He's a better dancer. I got it. It's okay. It's okay. I like both you guys.
Oh, look. See, now Jeff's happy.
Yeah.
Fred.
Right on, Jeff. You know, I like your commercials, and I like your backdrop, and I like the way you got things set up. It's pretty cool, buddy.
Thanks. It's been a year and a half in the making, but we are finally here, and this is it.
And Eugene can take all of the credit for the design and everything like that.
Nah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he did a great job. It's the commercials are terrific. I was sitting, I was blown away. They were very, very well done. So, right on. It's amazing. You tell the guy he's a good dancer, and he just loves you forever. I think.
Now, see, with Jeff and me, Fred, it's the hair. That's the thing right now. Is we did a side by side picture, and it was like almost like we were brothers because I've got the hair down.
And then Jeff called you out.
He did. He
Oh,
said,
wow.
I can't Asian and Asian. So
I got hair too, but it's all on the back of my head. That's what.
but Fred, it is beautiful and it is glorious, even if it's on the back.
Right on, buddy.
So Fred, we are bringing you on because you had us on your show, and we want to know more about Fred Schultz. Because I know that I'm sure you've told your whole story on your show, but we want to bring it onto our show so we could tell more people about it also. So we want to start from the beginning. We want to hear that you were born, and then there was paintball. So take it away from.
It was pretty close to that. Yeah, actually, how I got started in paintball is I had a construction company back in the day, and I had a partner, Ricky Williams. And his birthday was coming up, and I mean, the guy had like everything. So we're like, what are we going to get this guy for his birthday? Well, my brother, we had like 45 guys working for us. So my brother's like, he says, hey, I seen a paintball marker down at Honest John's gun shop. I go, a paintball marker? He goes, yeah. He says, little plastic thing. He says, pretty cool. I go, heck, go buy him one. Let's use that. So anyhow, we bought him one. We gave it to him, and he's out there shooting it, and then I had to shoot it, and then he shot me in the leg. Okay, so then I had to go get one. That was kind of on. So I went and got one, went back, and then we were running. We had a big yard. So we were running around his yard, shooting at each other and having a great time. And then his wife come out, he shot the window. He blamed it on me, obviously, but he shot the window, and then she came out and put the kibosh to that. So we went up. There was a vacant lot up by us, so we went up and started playing on the lot. Well, next thing we knew, all the guys who worked for us were getting these and coming out. So every Sunday we'd go up there and play. And one Sunday we ended up out there, and there was about 40 of us, and we're like, wow, this is not going to work because this is a little lot. So we went out and we found a place. Yeah. I mean, I was enjoying it. It was the neighbors that weren't happy, So we went out, and that's when we found a piece of land, and we started the first field in this area around here, and we called it Battle Action Games. And it just kind of grew from there. It started out just me and our crew playing. The next thing I know, other people heard about it, and they were showing up on Saturday and Sunday, and just one thing led to another, and away we went. I started the team, and it was on. So
that's
I go back, and that was in '84. So.
Oh wow, I was watching Buckaroo Banzai in '84. Just
Yeah. just like you watched it last night.
Yeah, definitely. I had to do a throwback there. But so you went from shooting a friend, just you two, to 40 people, to becoming what, I mean, you were you still are Mr. Paintball.
Yeah.
I mean, you are an ambassador for the sport. You've done so much. Like, after we talked on the last time when we were on your show, that night when I went on to watch the Disney paintball game that you had on ESPN. Yeah, Paintball USA. I was like watching that. I was like, man, that is seriously cool. One, you did it on Disney property, which already I'm a fan because I love
And
Disney.
not in the woods. We did it on the street. That's what was incredible. Cool. Yeah.
And you did it in such a way which you were able to really keep track of the sport, who's shooting who, how it's rolling, and it was great. I loved it. I actually really loved it. I watched
my whole goal on that, Eugene, was, I ever from the beginning, when I started playing paintball, and I got into it, I wanted the sport to grow. I wanted more people to get into it. And I was always looking for a more positive way. I did the round McDonald houses. That's how I got my first cover shot. Randy Kamei gave me my first cover shot in APG. And I just always thinking of a way, how can we bring people that do not play paintball? How can we get it to their attention? That's the ticket, getting it to their attention. Because, it's just like you guys, and same way with me. You see something that's cool, you got to try it. You want to go give it a shot. If it sucks, you don't do it again, but you want to give it that one shot. So I thought, well, how do we get people interested in this? And then I thought, well, if we could put this on ESPN. And so I went to ESPN and they go, yeah, we tried a paintball show before and nobody watched it. And that's because it was in the woods. And, you guys would know it's extremely hard to film in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Unless you're a Hollywood production or something like that, it's extremely rough to do it. And so then I asked them, I said, well, what if we shot it like in an urban area, like say on New York Street at Disney, And, after they got done laughing at me for about 6 minutes, then they told me, well, if you think you could do something like that, we would be interested. Well, anyhow, make a long story short, it took about 9 months, it was like having a television show baby, I guess. And it was that painful at some points too. And we took and got the show going. And after we did the show, the first showing reached millions of people. We had the #1 show on ESPN2 that entire weekend. I think there was basketball and all kinds of other things on. But the whole point being is I wasn't going after people that played paintball. I wanted to go after people that didn't play paintball. And that's by putting it on ESPN and having the Disney name behind you. Because, back then, guys, when it started, the war games thing was a very, very hard thing to overcome. People thought that you were more warmongers and all this other stuff. Well, once they seen it that Disney was involved, it just kind of changed a lot of people's attitudes. And after the show, I got calls from all kinds of guys in own fields across the United States saying, I cannot believe how many walk-ons we had this week. And they said they've seen the Disney show and they wanted to try it. So, that's how you do it.
That is definitely awesome. Yeah, and yes, Jeff, definitely marketing genius. Oh, you took it.
Yeah, I got to have Jeff back on my show. Jeff is a show by himself. I'm sure you know that. I'm sure you and Dennis know that without a problem. Jeff, how should I put it? Jeff is not shy. I'll say it that way. And he's very articulate too. He's very articulate. He knows exactly what he wants to say and when he wants to say it. So we had him on, and he's a terrific guest. So I'll be watching next week when he's on.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll be blowing his horn next week too. I got to do that now because I like watching you guys show. You guys are pretty interesting.
Oh, we try. We're working on it. I mean, we've got
big shoes to fill, Fred. So I really appreciate that.
Well, you guys are you're heading in the right direction, and what you're doing is you're trying to better the sport. You're trying to bring more people into the sport. Now, if people don't appreciate that, then to me, they really don't want to build a sport. They just want to maybe play it or build themselves up, but they don't want to build a sport in general. And see, when you do stuff
Sure.
like you guys are doing, and the same way with my show, my whole thing is to try to build paintball, try to make it interesting. And what's good about the podcast, like your podcast, just like the bags. Okay. Now I didn't know about the bags. I mean, I don't live under a rock, but I didn't know about the bags. Now I know about
Yeah.
the bags because you were talking about the bags. And I think that's very cool. So same way when I do my show, I want people to maybe learn something that they didn't know before, and that's the whole point of all these podcasts is to make paintball bigger and better.
Yes, definitely. And
Absolutely.
the funny thing is that I took a lesson out of your page out of your book after watching the Disney show, the ESPN2 show, because you took a break from the actual game that was going on, and you were now on the field with just local players, and you were talking about the different tanks and the markers, and it was truly something for the masses so they could learn
Wow,
more
you said
about
you
the sport.
Not now. I know you at least watched half of it. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was that was in the middle, and the reason we shot that down in Florida.
Mhm.
And I did it with the Florida Annihilators. It's just a great bunch of guys. And anyhow, I wanted to show people. I didn't want everybody to think that you had to go out in your neighborhood or wherever the stores were and play paintball, because that's not what it
Right.
was about. So I wanted to show exactly where they could go and try it out. And I wanted everybody to understand that this is a show we're doing. This isn't something that you go do. This is a show. So, that's why we did the segment in the middle to show where to go, what to do, what to expect. And I just tried to reach all aspects of everything.
Yeah, and I really did like that, and that's when after I watched that, I was already, like I said before, my mind was going a million miles a minute, and I was like, oh my gosh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. Gear review and a review of the field. And I talked to Dennis after that because I was like, yeah, dude, I just watched the show. And one thing that I also thought about, and at the same time, we watched the NXL the last weekend. And one thing that Maddie had said was, not everybody knows what these bunkers are. And not only that, but every team has a different name for the bunkers,
Exactly.
Right.
which
Exactly.
when you guys were out on the field, I don't know if it wasn't you that was up there, the commentator at that time. It was, oh my gosh.
It was Randy Camilla.
Yeah.
He was editor for APG, and Randy played on my team, Constant Pursuit. What I did was, it was my 7 guys that I took down there against everybody on the other team was my sponsor. I had Tom Tay on the other team from Airgun Designs. I had Billy Garner. He was Smart Parts. Rainy Boucher, Paintball News. I mean, all the guys that were over there. Tim Schloss, Tiger Stripe Camouflage. I had Jerry Braun. I don't know if you guys know Jerry. He had Paintball Sport back then. Anyhow, he
Yeah.
was a ref down there. He was a little short guy running around. And yeah. So, when I did it, I brought all my friends in to do it. And I got to tell you, it's a memory that I wish I could share with absolutely everybody, because it was a one-shot deal. Although I'm still thinking about trying to do something else, but not at Disney. But I just think that it reached a lot of people normally that we could not have reached if it wasn't for the Disney and the ESPN.
Well, you definitely laid the groundwork for what came later on, which was People to Extreme. And that had a pretty good following because I was watching that show. It was cheesy, but it was still good because we got, paintball. We got to see paintball on a weekly basis. And it was really cool to see. So I would say, you did a lot for this sport, Fred. I mean, it's amazing.
The MTV, after that, we did the MTV show, and that was the #1 Road Rules show. I don't know if you guys heard of Road Rules back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are young. You guys are youngsters, I mean, geez. They started playing on dinosaurs, you know.
Youngsters
You know,
as I turned
yeah.
45 last week, you know.
Yeah, they played that show, the Road Rules show about paintball. They played that 168 times that year. I was
Wow.
getting calls from people at 3 o'clock in the morning. Go, Fred, man, you know, I just hang up. You know, it was just on constantly. So, you know, and what that did, the reason that I really wanted to jump in and do the MTV thing is because now I wanted to jump on the younger group, and then now we're into the young guns, you know, which
Yeah.
I think is terrific. You know, Mark Gong and Scott McDonald, you know, these guys, and Jennifer Montresor, you know, Jamie Conley, all these people are working really, really hard with these youngsters now. And I got to tell you, Eugene and Dennis, you should watch these kids play. They are out there absolutely smacking it. They are unbelievable.
Oh, I
Oh,
actually watched the first Young Guns event when they put it on the NXL. What was that? When was that, Dennis?
That was an
it wasn't.
exhibition. I think that was up here in Sacramento a little while ago.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the exhibition.
it wasn't this past one. It was the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those kids, like, especially that one kid, he had a little mohawk going. He had like the Thomas Taylor going on, and he wrecked some fools. And then he was like, "Who was it?"
I think that was Colton Dahl, wasn't it?
I don't remember, but I remember him dumping. He was a little guy, and he was dumping the balls out. Yeah, last year's World Cup, he was dumping the balls out. He was celebrating. I was all like, "Dude, that kid, that's a kid right there."
Yeah, Mark Gong. You guys know Mark Gong, right?
We know of him, but we don't know him.
Okay. Anyhow, he played on my team back in the day. He's one of the best guys you'll ever want to meet. But that's how all of this really got started, because you know the kids were playing for a long time, but about a year and a half, 2 years ago, he took his two sons out, Mark Gong Jr. and Jaden Gong, and he took them out because it was Father's Day and one of their birthdays. So he took them out to play paintball, and that's how he actually got started in all of this. And then after he kept taking the kids out and they were getting better, then I brought him out on the show, and I told Mark, I says, you know, I said, we need to really start pushing this. And after Mark and I brought him on a show a few times. We had the kids on. Next thing I know, I'm getting calls from everybody across the United States going, hey, man, you know, I got kids too. Can we put them on? And now Scott McDonald, he's one of the guys out here. He started a team called Young Guns. And I got to tell you guys, Scott McDonald's into it with both feet right now. We're having on my show tomorrow night, we're having a raffle that we've been putting together to raise money for their jerseys, and they're going to the World Cup, because this year at the NXL down in Florida, they're going to actually have the first Young Guns tournament. So they're going to have their own segment there. It's going to be on Saturday. So
That's
that should
awesome.
be pretty cool. But if you guys get a chance, you want to go out there and you want to watch them play, because they are absolutely fabulous.
We definitely want to get like Mark on to talk about it, and even all these other people that you've been talking about to bring onto the show, to bring more awareness to the kids now, because this is the next generation that's coming up.
Correct.
And we want to teach them the right way to play. I'm not saying, you know, how to hold your marker, how to run through and all that other stuff, but how to actually have sportsmanship in it, because we're seeing a lot of that starting to, like, it was at the last event where those two guys, I don't know if you saw that, Fred, where it was I forgot what team it was, but they literally were just plowing into each other's face.
Yeah, it was DMG and DMG.
I've seen part of that. Yeah, my friend Keith Kissel showed that to me. But, you know, Eugene, you are so right. And, you know, the reason that I praise Mark Gong, and if you want Mark on your show, get him on. That's a piece of cake.
We do.
He's a great guy. And the reason I praise him, and I praise the Hermans, because I'm an official player on the Hermans. Not a player, but a backer of them. I got my own jersey and everything over here, but I'm too tall. I could be the center on their basketball team because they're all but But these guys, what's good about them is they come off the field, win, lose, or draw. They're not swearing, they're not yelling, they're not calling the other guys cheater. And if you want to build paintball, if somebody is standing on the sidelines, say a parent standing there and he's watching a game thinking, wow, I'd like to let my kid try this, or maybe even me. And then they see these kids coming off yelling and swearing and all this. They're going to go, you know what? This is not for me. I'm out of here. But if they see these kids coming off going, good game, I lost, it is what it is, they're going to say, you know what? This isn't so bad. So you're absolutely right. To me, playing is about 40%. 60% to me is attitude. Period.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And on that,
Be the best player in the world. If
I'm
you're a jerk, you suck. So, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Feel free to talk, Dennis. No problem.
Thank you, Fred. Go ahead, Dennis.
I was gonna kind of. You brought up an interesting point in terms of appealing to people who are not in the sport right now, and that made me think back to the point of marketing and things like that. This is something that Eugene and I talked about before. I'm all for companies, trying to put themselves out there and gain a foothold within the industry and make money. I mean, far be it for me to do that. But I was kind of curious on that point, what your thoughts were. We're starting to see a shift back into like the late 90s, early 2000s of like the swagger and kind of the like attitude. And we're seeing products that are being marketed like hate, violence. I mean, these are actual brand names, and nothing against the stuff that they make. They make quality soft goods and things like that. But from the standpoint of a parent who doesn't know anything about it, they see things like that. What are your thoughts on, do you feel like that's detrimental to the sport?
Well, I'd have to say, a personal opinion, I would say it doesn't really help it in a big way. Might help that company. And, companies have to make money if they're going to survive and actually help build paintball. But you don't want to do it, to me, in a negative way. Let me ask you, Dennis, you had two sons and they were 14 years old, and you went out to a paintball field and you seen everybody out there with hate on and yelling at each other and swearing. And, would you want your kids to get involved in that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, that's my point right there. I'm all for building paintball. Okay, I love playing paintball, and we can all play paintball. But eventually, we're gonna all die, and there's not going to be anybody left to play paintball. Duh. So anyhow, that's where the young guns come in. And if you have the young guns in a positive manner, what happens is people see this and the kids will keep building on it and building on it, And I hate to bring up Jeff again, because I know that's a sore spot for Eugene. But when I had Jeff on, Jeff, you guys are too. I want to tell everybody out there. I talked to Dennis and Eugene before I had them on my show, and I talked to them before my show. And these are two very, very positive guys when it comes to paintball. And I wanted to say the same thing about Jeff. I think Jeff conveys the sport in a positive way. And Loopy, I don't know Loopy, but I want to meet this guy now. That's all there is to he's uh-oh, you're laughing. Uh-oh.
No, he's a great guy. No,
Lupe is an amazing guy.
He is.
I got to meet him now. Yeah,
one of the stars for Destiny right now. So.
And Jeff's all right. Jeff's okay. He's an all right guy.
He said the same thing about you too. You got that same smirk. I don't understand it.
Well,
we go back and forth on the military thing. So.
Yeah.
Well, we're both Army, so it's okay.
That's fun though. That's fun. That first of all, it makes for a lively show. I'm over here all by myself. Well, my wife's over here with me, but I'm all excited now just talking to you guys. Jeff jumping in and stuff like that. I think this is what makes people interested in watching the podcasts, and just I love it.
We try to keep it entertaining. We keep it light, and we want to also get that message out there. And that's why we wanted to have you on here, because you have that You know what I told Dennis, and I'll be straight out and honest with you, Fred, is when I talked to you and when I was on your show and when we got off the show and we were still in the green room talking with, especially with Bud and Bill, it was like when you talk, I feel like I've known you forever. Like you're, yeah. And not only that, but I was like, dude, his name should be, Mr. Fred Rogers Schultz.
Yeah, then I got to go down and find a neighborhood and all this.
I'm waiting for the trolley to go back behind you.
Watch on his next episode, he's gonna be putting on a cardigan.
He puts on the sweater.
Oh, goodness, sounds like he's been there. I like it.
I can only imagine what Bill is gonna say when he sees this. I love it. Yeah, you guys want to have Bud on. You want to have Mark Gong on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I see you got Jeff coming on next week. Chris Rangel. Two very, very good guests. It's true. Actually, once you bring Jeff on, once you get him wound up, you guys might as well go get a sandwich because he's worse than I am. He'll take right over.
Oh man. Oh, Lady Elaine as your sidekick. Oh, we can't see her though. Can we get a hi?
Talking about you.
Oh, me. Well, hi.
There's her hand. I'll tell you something, guys, too. I do my show every week. She's sat out here. I've been doing it for about, 2.5 years? Mm-hmm. And she's only sat out here with me twice, and I think they've both been at Christmas, or maybe one at Christmas, one at Thanksgiving. So so now she's sat out here to watch you guys because I was telling her about you guys. So, it's actually kind of a special thing. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool she sat out here because I was telling her about you guys. When you guys were on the show, I was very impressed. I was very impressed when I talked to you guys before the show, and been very impressed ever since, guys. And looking forward to doing something with you sometime in the future. I would like to link up and maybe do something extraordinaire. Just something cool.
Let's take over the world. We're just going to take over the world. That's it. I'm going to go out the door now. You're going to go take it over.
You might want to slow down on the Mountain Dew.
All right, no more ghosts before the show or during the show for me. That's it.
I like the ghost commercial. You did that, huh?
Yeah. They were just really quick little things that I put together. It's what I do.
I loved it. It was absolutely terrific. So, and pretty good drink too, huh?
Oh, it is, as you could tell.
Yeah. I'll be completely honest, not trying to go too far off topic or be too, graphic. I've struggled with all kinds of GI problems most of my adult life, and energy drinks I can't handle. They make me feel horrible. I get all kinds of problems. This one, nothing. It's fantastic, and they taste good. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to trying it now too. I'm pretty hyped up without the energy drink. The energy drink, I might be up there dancing on tables or something. I just think some of it, to give your body, especially when you're playing and when it's hot out. I think I think that would be a good charge, a good shot. So I'm looking forward to trying that stuff.
Well, we will get you some soon, Fred. We definitely will.
Yeah, well, you did them justice. So if they're watching you tonight or here in the future, they come back and they check out your show. These guys did you justice.
I hope so.
I didn't know that much about it, and now I'm very, very interested. And I'm hearing it throughout two varies, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. So, Fred, we want to know what you have upcoming. What is in the future for Fred Schultz?
Well, I got to tell you guys, right now I've got so many irons in the fire I'm smoking. But we're taking off here. I want to go down and do the Decay of Nations. I believe it's like the 2nd of October. Bud wants me to come down. So Bud and I were going to go hook up with the Psycho Clowns, Stefan Santasola and all of those guys. And we're going to go down there and play that. But I was only going to play one day, Saturday. Because in 2.5 weeks, we're heading over to do the WCPL in St. Louis. It's the last WCPL of the year. and I am very excited to go do that. And then I come home from that, and then about 8 days after that, I head to Orlando for the World Cup. So
The World Cup.
Jeez.
I got a busy time coming up right now. I try to keep everything at a level. When I had paintball, when I was in paintball before, I did all kinds of big games. I was gone. I was gone probably almost 3 weeks out of every month I was traveling. I was
No
gone
kidding.
about 8, 10 days. That's why I took my family with me, and yeah, and that's funny too because I see the USA team over in France today, and I thought that was so cool, And Tom Kay and I, Tom Kay, he had air gun designs. Anyhow, Tommy and I went over there to France. It was Tom and I, two guys from France, two guys from England, and a guy from Germany. We linked up and we played a tournament over there. I think it was in 92 or 94, something like that. Anyhow, and we won it. They allowed
No
one pro
kidding.
on the team, and I was the pro. So we went.
That's
We won that
awesome.
summit, man. It was pretty cool. So
This is exactly what I'm talking about for anybody watching. Fred is the type of person that can literally do a throw together and win a tournament.
it was amazing. It was. Matter of fact, we have that on tape too, don't we? Yep. Yep. It was a great time. There was a team there. There was a team there called the Tunes. And the captain was the oldest guy on the Tunes, and he was 16, but most of them were 14 and 15. They got the sportsmanship award. They didn't do so good as far as the tournament goes, but they got the sportsmanship award. And I got to tell you, that's when I really first started thinking about, because I was a lot younger then, a lot younger. But anyhow, that's when I first started thinking, wow, that's pretty cool the way these kids and their attitudes were terrific, and they were just so humble. Just had such a great time, man. It was yeah, very grown up. It was great.
See, that's what makes tournaments like fun is when everybody's just having fun and you don't get all that. I mean, the sport's already aggressive as it is. We're going out there, we're shooting each other.
Well,
Balls are flying through the air, everyone's running around, the adrenaline's up, but to come off and be able to be like, hey, great game, it was fun, to be able to say that it was fun instead of saying, man, those guys were a bunch of jerks, and blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, that. It's like, no, I want to be out there and just have fun.
Eugene, that's why I like big games so much. I mean, because back in the day, I had Constant Pursuit. We were one of the first professional teams out there. There was us, the All-Americans, the Ironmen. Us and the Ironmen practiced together because we all lived together here. We all practiced together every weekend, So we traveled around for years doing the tournaments. And did I enjoy it? Absolutely, because I got to see all my friends from the other teams that I normally would not see. But I could see them when I go to these tournaments, But it was like a business, I had my sponsors, I had, obligations to my team, I had just all kinds of it. It's not like there's no pressure. But I would go do these big games, and I would do probably 2 big games, 3 big games a month, and I mean fly to these big games across the U.S. And you can ask my wife. I had hundreds of thousands of miles in the air. I took my whole family. We flew to Chicago and had dinner and flew back on my miles and still had like 100,000 miles. So, but anyhow, and my wife's sitting right here too. She knows. But anyhow, when I go to a big game, yeah, I know. Yeah, the whole thing is when I go to the big games, what I would do is I would meet hundreds of new people, great people, and no stress. Absolutely no stress. And when I do the big games, I would play 4 games. I would play 2 games on one side. I'd go captain the 2 games on the other side. So, I just, and then afterwards, we'd all get together, have a big barbecue and hang out. And it was just, that to me is that's what really made me love paintball an awful lot.
And that's one thing that I never got to actually experience because I went in and I went straight into tournament ball. That was it.
You know what? I'll tell you something. Tim and I, Tim Schloss, he has Gateway Paintball in St. Louis. That's where the WCPL is going to be held at here in a few weeks. Anyhow, him and I are putting together. We want to start doing big games again because big games are just terrific. And what we're doing is we're setting up the north, not the north south, the east and west game, and we're making the cutoff Chicago. So anybody from Chicago East can play on the East team, and only 250 each side. And then same thing from Chicago to the west. So we're getting that set up for next year, and I would definitely love to have you guys come out when we set that up, come out and play paintball and show you what it was like back in the day.
We would
Oh my
definitely
God.
love to make it out there. That would be amazing. So if you let us know, and if we can do it, even if we have to hitchhike out there, we will
Yeah,
get there.
we'll work it out. Nothing else. You guys could fly in for a day, spend a night, hang out with us all day, spend the night, hang out the next day, and then we'll ship you back the next night. So, and you'll go back with a memory and new friends that you will think about constantly.
We definitely want to do it. Dennis, you're going to have to get a really big suitcase, and I'm going to get in it, and we're going to go.
Wait,
That
but
sounds
Eugene,
good,
you're
guys.
the one. You're the one with the military background that has the large duffels that I can fit in. Not only that, but you
Okay.
got military transport.
The thing is that you're using a key word in there, military. I don't think you know what military grade really is, because a military grade bag, you do not want to be in that bag. Trust me, I don't even want my gear in the bag. That's just bad. It's all bad. But you know what, Fred? It's been awesome having you on, and we're actually, because we're trying to stay within like your kind of how you have your show. Which wait.
1 hour.
1 hour. We're at the
We do
hour.
12.
We're at the 1 hour and 3 minute mark, which will probably end up going to about an hour and 10 because I'm going to take forever to end the show. But exactly, Jeff. Military equals lowest bidder. He isn't kidding. Military also equals guys like me. So,
I love it.
but Fred, it's been awesome to have you on our show. We are really, it's an honor. I mean, from the first time that I met you till now, it really has been an honor to be able to talk to you and spend time with you and hear about the past of how it was, and how you continue to just, again, truly be that ambassador for this sport. And now that you're pushing the young guns, the kids, it's awesome. And we definitely want to, however we can help with getting that word out there, we definitely want to be on board with you. However Behind the Mask can help you, let us know. We will be on it.
Very cool.
I have one last thing that I wanted to run past Fred real quick here. So
Yes, sir.
Eugene and I really cut our teeth during the heyday of the MPBL and the Super 7. What can we do to bring back 7-man?
I want to see the nipple.
Don't get me wrong. I love X-Ball. It's exciting
Sorry.
to watch,
I mean,
but for me, it's difficult to play.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. That's why I'm so happy we're bringing back the woods ball. Okay, because obviously now, the speedball, the hyperball, and stuff like that, you've got to be very fast. These kids are extremely fast out there. And, like I tell everybody, I raced the turtle and come in second. So, I don't want to be doing that. Will I go play it? Yeah, because I don't mind getting the heck shot out of me. That's a piece of cake. But, the woods ball is for everybody. And we wanted to bring back the 10-man woods ball, and that's why we started the WCPL, Dennis. And sometime, if you guys ever get a chance, I would like you to kind of hook up with us and play the 10-man woods ball, because the woods ball is for everybody. You don't have to be extremely fast. You got to think a little bit faster, but it's just a lot of fun. It really, really is. So, and guys, I want to take the chance to thank you so much for inviting me on your show tonight. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Can't tell you how much I enjoyed it. It was a kick. I like that. I like kicks. It's pretty cool.
Well, Fred, we definitely would want to have you back on again, and definitely again do something with you and get something going. And if we can get out to these events, and Jeff, he just said he would like me and Dennis to play with him at a Woods Ball event. So there it is, Jeff. Suck it.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, and I would like to have Jeff play with us too. I have the
Aw.
band. Well, you guys, I could bring you guys to play on the band. I bring guests out to play on the band. The band is myself. I'm the captain. I got Bud Orr. I got Dan Colby from Immortal Air. I got all the really, really nice guys who work really hard in the sport. We have a great time. And, Jeff and you two guys would probably fit right in to come out and guest on it. So
That would be a lot of fun. Actually, I would like to get out there and play, and even bring out. We'll bring out Jeff. Jeff's head has got to be like this big now. Come on. His hair is probably looking like a little mohawk on top because his head's growing. He's like, oh my gosh, Fred is talking about me.
yeah. I thought we talked before there's no hair jokes. Okay, come on.
Sorry.
you and me both. You and me both, Fred. You and me both.
Yeah. Right on, guys. Again,
Oh,
thank you
all right.
very much, Jeff. I want to thank you so much for watching tonight. I think you're a terrific person. And guys, I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be on your show. You guys did a terrific job.
Thank you. You know what, Fred? Hold tight. We are going to come out of our segment and we're going to end our show, and we'll get back to you in a second.
You got it.
So,
Bye, everybody.
everybody,
Remember, play hard, play safe, play fair, but get out and play paintball.
awesome.